We are going to expose an NFL handicapping myth brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com, the top sports handicapping site in the world, led by me, Joe Duffy, CEO of OffshoreInsiders.com. I've been featured on ESPN, Bleacher Report, CBC, just all kinds of stuff, multimedia throughout the world. Winningest NFL handicapper ever. My picks have been public since 1988. And yes, I'm a score phone legend. Get my picks in football, basketball, all sports at OffshoreInsiders.com. Now let's take a look at NFL splits in betting. If you watch all of our videos or listen to our podcast in real time, you'll know that we recently exploited a myth, and it really applies in every single sport. But we demonstrated in Major League Baseball about how so many people say, take a look at teams that are much better at home than they are on the road, and then they will tell you, well, you maybe want to lean towards betting these teams at home and against them on the road. False. Facts-driven handicapping say, nope, there will be a regression to the mean. In fact, teams that have a road winning percentage in the NFL, we're talking about in the NFL, of at least 400 points worse than their winning percentage straight up is at home, or 412, 337, and 22 against the spread if they are a road dog of 2.5 or more. And again, the spread, by the way, if you eliminate the point spread completely, it still turns a profit, but a little bit better when they're getting at least 2.5 or more, which corroborates that the perception is that this team is more likely to lose. Remember, the public always likes to bet on the favorite or the teams they think are most likely to win. But again, teams that are much better at home than they are on the road actually are good spread plays on the road, because we're not what we are is betting on overreaction and perception. In fact, such teams that are much better at home than they are on the road are 655 and 720, a losing proposition, unless they are a huge underdog at home. So in reality, if a team is much better at home than on the road, you want to bet against them at home and for them on the road. That will level off. The exceptions to the rule is if they are actually big road favorites or big home underdogs. And again, big home underdogs generally do pretty well. So the basic conclusion is it's not a massive edge per se, but a very solid edge, and all part of the compiling the evidence, all part of coming up with a winning pick. We don't blindly bet any one or two systems. Actually, there are a couple of them that are so damn good. We pretty much do blindly bet them unless there is conflicting information. But at a bare minimum, stop outsmarting yourself. You may be making this very common mistake, and there's a pretty good chance you are, because, look, I read stuff from other handicappers and listen to the theories and podcasts, and then I test them. And there are so many handicappers out there that, quite frankly, that's the reason why most handicappers last a year or 2 years in the business and then they return to working at gas stations or being waiters, because they just say, well, you know, this sounds like it makes sense and I really think I'm a genius, and then they give you losing picks. But at the minimum, stop outsmarting yourself. If you see a team that is much better at home than on the road, don't go with this square belief that you want to bet on them at home and against them on the road. So for top sports picks that are based on facts, and they win. This is why I have been around since June 1st, 1988 as a full-time gambler and handicapper, going back to the score phone days. Joe Duffy's Picks at OffshoreInsiders.com.